Favorite. I'm speaking for my cousins here, and for those who couldn't attend, my cousin Julie is in Scotland studying at the moment. For my cousin Paul, who's out in BC, he's living in southern BC, and for Gabrielle and Bradley, who couldn't attend Oregon. For myself, I've just returned from Israel. I'm now living there at the moment. And like I said, it was really important for me to be back with my grandma to celebrate her on a special day. And my grandma is the youngest 80-year-old I know, really, the youngest. The youngest. And she's always been the same to me since I can remember till now. She's been ageless and full of energy, as you all know. And I still have some puff trying to keep up to her on her shopping spree. Shopping days. Really, I do. I keep it up. My grandma is the most selfless woman I know, and she maintains very special and strong relationships with all of her children and grandchildren. And she wouldn't have any other way. She's the first to jump on a plane when called upon to babysit. Although Grandma, I don't think any of us need babysitting anymore. Still, like, we try to have you come and stay with us. We love it. You know, she flew to Oregon and Connecticut so many times, she could probably qualify for a green card. That's how many times she's out there. She is constantly putting others before herself. She's an active member of her church, St. George's United. She's a best friend to many. She's a world traveler, and I think she's the only one that has and continues to out-travel me. That's true. Now, my grandma has had a big hand in my love for arts and crafts. She taught me how to sew, or tried to anyway. Tried to. All of my dolls' clothes are grandma originals. And it didn't stop at clothing. She made pillows, blankets, you name it, she's made it. She even made a night cover for my hamster Dusty's cage. Well, she made it and I took credit for it. I know that.
You made it.
She's made it all. When my grandma comes to visit also, she often prepares goodie bags for all of us, all the grandchildren. You know, filled with relevant newspaper clippings, knickknacks, rummage sale finds that she knows we love, and we do. We love them. My grandma is also responsible for my sweet tooth, without a doubt. We were always baking together, and she would even let me lick the beaters, which I loved. Every birthday or holiday, we couldn't wait for dessert because we knew Grandma was baking. She was bringing. And as kids, she would make for us her famous cakes, and hidden inside were things like, you know, pins and safety pins, yeah, booby prize, right? All wrapped in wax paper. But the biggest prize being the quarter, which she's going to be more excited about. Yeah. And with time, the cakes took new shapes. Well, we don't want to say the foil. It sounds better wax paper. So with time, the cakes took on new flavors and shapes, but every dessert being original and super tasty, of course. And it became sort of a game with us, you know. Guess which fruit or vegetable Grandma used. My personal favorite being the zucchini and tomato soup cake. My grandma is also extremely current and fashionable, if you haven't noticed. And my fashion advice comes from her. We're always asking, Grandma, where'd you get your cute outfit? She is so current that she even has Facebook. You know what that is? I think she's the only grandma I know that has Facebook. My parents, they just got it. And so whenever my parents want to try to keep up with my travel lifestyle, they always sign into her account and have a look. They do. At get-togethers and events, Grandma is always the life of the party. She's always had so much fun. And all of this without a drop of alcohol, so we can all take a look at
that table all night.
Yeah, talk to them.
Although Grandma is a strong, independent woman, she has a lovely self-demeanor about her. And I know she turns into putty the second the hairbrush touches her head. Just like her mother, my granny used to. Same thing. She's been the best grandma any of us could ever hope for, and will always be my grandma, but now, more importantly, I consider her a friend as well. Oh, here the waterworks come.
I know.
I love spending time with her, having sleepovers at her place in the city, listening to her stories, gossiping as we do, and confiding in her for advice. My grandma is the glass half full type, the eternal optimist, as we all know. And I have never ever heard her mutter a bad word about anyone. I hold my grandma up on a pedestal because that's where she deserves to be. And here they come. Although she'd probably say, dear, put me down. I deserve this. So please, can you please join me in toasting Barbara, my grandma, to a caring friend, a loving mother, and a nurturing grandmother. We love you so much. Words cannot express. Happy 80th. May we celebrate many more together, and Mazel Tov. Mazel Tov. Love you. To Barb, my grandma. Love you.
I want you to sing it. I want you to sing it. Come on.
That's my last thing. That's where I stopped singing.
Come on.
Sorry.
Happy birthday. Come on.
Yum yum am I really doing this? I'm over. That's my part. I love you, Grandma. Happy birthday.
Okay, thank you. Come on. Sit down. No.
I'll try to make everyone hear it.
I just wanted to
Thank
thank
you, Laura, for
everybody.
giving us a grandchild perspective. I would like to say a few words as a daughter, and of course, I love my mom with all my heart, and I know my brothers do as well. But she's the best mom ever, and we're a little biased, of course. But everyone loves mom. She puts a smile on your face, and she lights up a room. And as children growing up, we were all very close. Mom stayed at home, and when we lived in Willowdale, we always loved to come home at lunchtime and have a hot bowl of soup or a sandwich and spend time together. Mom made sure we had lots of outdoor time. We always had to play, and playing meant yeah, get outside.
Get out of the house.
Which instilled in us a love of nature and fresh air. We were forced to play outside whenever possible. She made it possible for us all to go to summer camp, even if it was only for a couple weeks. She would come to visit us midway through the session, and I was probably the most homesick of all. But Mom was sure to write me every day and even send care packages. But we all love cottaging and outdoor activities. Don and Sue are into triathletes. But also, Mom would drive us to our swimming lessons, piano lessons, choir practices, performances. She instilled in us a love of art, sculpture, and music. And education was important. She wanted us to live our dreams and encouraged and supported us to have a higher education, which we are grateful for. She was always very organized. In Willowdale, we all had a drawer. We all had a drawer for our stuff in the kitchen. So Bill on top, Bill, Marilyn, John. When we traveled to Florida in the car every Christmas, there were 6 of us, and it was like a big Oldsmobile or whatever. But still, we were going for Christmas, and everything was down to a science.
And you always got the best.
Marilyn got to sit in the front.
Anyways, Mom had the car packed down. The car was packed. It had all the Christmas presents, all the luggage, and then there was the cots and the sleeping bags because, of course, we all used to stay in one hotel room. And she had the snacks and the breakfast food and all the stories that she would read to us along the way. And she packed a little bag for all the kids. Like the boys all had their little red bags of dinky toys. And they'd be playing in the back with their cars. And I would have my little bag with boondoggle or my crafts or whatever. But I got to sit on a suitcase in the front between my parents.
No seatbelts.
But partly, they put me up there so that I could look out the windows, and that was to keep me so that I used to get car sick. So when I used to say pull over, if it was a pullover stop, it had to be like that minute. There was a lot of those pullover stops. And we never had seatbelts back then. Yes, my mom's arm was the seatbelt. So she was the driver, it was her right arm. And as she was the passenger, it was her left arm was the seatbelt. This is true. Mom was always very much in control. And when it was time for us to come in, when we lived in Willowdale, she would blow a whistle. And there was a very distinct blow. It was like one short, one long. And we, the children, would know that it was time to come home. But everyone in the neighborhood, everyone else also knew that it was time for the new children to go home when they heard that whistle. So if we were down playing in the Don River, perhaps using our boots in the Don River, or playing on a new construction site and a new home being built, because it's the time back then. We'd be covered in paint or whatever, but you know, that was what we did. But we would come home.
So, but Mom's love extends to all the family.
I remember when Linda used to come visit in the summertime, she would always have things planned for us to do. We would go to the Riverdale Zoo, or we'd go swimming, or we'd go to Center Island. She would make sure that there was lots of fun things for us to do. The same way I remember going to the Needy Farm and having wonderful times in the summer. Although I remember, yeah, you're going to remember the whole time I spent sneezing and rubbing my eyes, and I think there was a little bit of them forcing me to drink goat's milk, but no. But good times that we all had. Mom taught us to be kind, and we tried to follow in her example. She converted Pat into a manja cake, and for those of you that don't know, manja cake literally means translate into cake eater. So he went from someone who didn't eat any dessert to someone who loves dessert.
Important.
And just like Laura said, Mom would always volunteer to bring cakes or cookies to any event. She taught me to make Grandma Moose lemon snow, and Gran's lemon cake, and all these famous desserts and dishes that were passed down that are much loved and treasured recipes now. We always got to pick our cake design for our birthdays. We would go through the cake book and we'd say, oh, I want a dog or a lion. We all had our favorite ones, and we got them for our birthdays. And she made our birthdays elaborate affairs. I know my birthday was in October, and I used to get, like, my girlfriends were allowed to have, we had dress-up costume parties, and it was always but they were in the backyard playing. But Grandma would organize all the games and go outside if possible. Mom is the best homemaker. She, of course, taught me, like Laura, to sew, to cook, to bake. But I think I carried sewing to the extreme. When I was a teenager, I even made coats and bathing suits and undergarments. I think I sewed everything. I have benefits from all the curtains that we have in our house now. When I was 16, I won a sewing contest, and my kids continue to make fun of me for this. Okay, now forget about the typing. And I have great memories of traveling with Mom and my her mom, to Hespeler, Ontario, to model my outfit and receive my prize.
With your brother.
The themes were straight. Oh, just so fun. Kids today can't appreciate this sewing.
They make fun of her.
I also have great memories of trips with Mom and Gran, and we used to take my favorite being to New York State one fall to see the Finger Lakes and do all the factory tours. Mom is like me. We like to explore and poke, and anything along the way we travel. If there's a yard sale or an antique store or a shop that might start this kind of stock. They're off to a wedding. Bye, Jill. Bye, Alan. I guess you're going to. Bye. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. And thank you very much for your work. 7, 5, 6,
My job. It's okay. Speaking of antiques.
Quick hit.
I would be remiss if I didn't talk about recycling. Because the landfill has none of Mom's stuff, none of Mom's furniture, as you all well know. And they never will have any of Mom's furniture. We have been taught waste not, want not. If it can't be handed down, reupholstered, resewn, repainted, redecorated.
We just got a new TV yesterday.
I know you have to be thrown out in the back of our building.
garbage.
It's true. If one of her children or grandchildren, if one of our friends or neighbors, or if it can't be passed down to someone else, then it's lovingly donated to the rubbish dump. Mom is the mother of recycling. I think she started it, and the rest of the world picked up on it. The world owes her a debt. We still use the dishes that I had as a child now in our cottage. When Joan and Fraser McNair were partying at picnic, at the same time, Mom arranged a little trade that I think one of your sons got my old dishes, and we got the second set, so now our cottage has a giant rack and has different broken dishes. But they're all matching, and we still enjoy them. Religion is very important to Mom, and she's a valued member of St. George's. But her baby is the church rummage sale, and she's extremely generous of her time, driving to pick up rummage and helping organize the sale and the fashion show before the sale. Those toonies and loonies really do add up, because this year I think the church brought in, over 15,000? Oh my goodness, and it's like a 3-hour sale, like thousands of thousands. It's unbelievable all the hard work paying off. Mom has sung in the choir for many years, and before that, she sang in many other school choirs. She loves the music, but also values the many friendships that she has made with choir members and also at the church. But we went and heard the choir today.
Queen celebrate.
Mom is very charitable. When we lived in Windsor, she volunteered for a group called Major, and I remember at Christmas time, our basement was full of collected and donated toys, and she organized all the baskets for the needy families in the city. Mom reaches out to people and stays in touch with her friends and families everywhere. She still has strong bonds and ties with so many friends from Willowdale, from Windsor. She's got friends who have moved abroad into the States. She still has a friend from public school, and she also organizes the MAC Wealth reunions every 5 years. And last year, what you had your 50th? She's the glue that holds everyone together. Noreen, you were bridesmaid and classmates at university.
Mary Jean.
Joan, Mary Lou. You guys have known each other for years. But her love extends to all, and her circle of friends does continue to grow. None of us can keep up with Mom. Laura mentioned that she's got a love of travel, and she has wonderful memories of her many trips with her friends and also the McNair group. She can outwalk anyone. She's hip and physically fit. And during Toronto transit strike, when she was still working, I think she was 70-ish, I'm not sure exactly, she walked all the way from Yonge and Eglinton to Yonge and King Street because there was no transit. Not like walking from uptown to downtown, which none of our children would ever do.
And 20 stories up.
Yeah.
And they would take a cab, and if there was no cab, they just wouldn't go. Mom has a car, but I think she bought it to be a family car, so that everyone else would use it. It is like a family car. Laura borrows it every time when she comes to visit. Mom is like a second mom to our children, and I would like to thank her for guiding all of our grandchildren with such love and devotion. Just as Mom was close with her mom and was an unbelievable daughter herself, I can only hope to be as good a daughter to her. It meant so much to me to wear also her wedding dress when Patty and I got married. She is the perfect definition of a mom, and I think she should get her award. You encompass everything that I would want in a mom, but also in a grandma, an aunt, or a friend. You have a contagious goodwill and love of life, and you can't but love her, and we should all follow in her footsteps.
Thank you, my girl.
Thank you again all for coming. If you haven't had a chance to sign the card for Mama, you can do that. But take the time, enjoy, and have your coffee. And thank you, Victoria. Thank you, Chico.
Thank you. Happy birthday.
Thank you, everyone. We had a lovely meal, and thank you to your wait staff very much for all your wonderful. We enjoyed it. It was lovely.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. But stay in and continue to visit and enjoy.
Don't we sing happy birthday?
We did.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. Far away. I think I might Portland, Connecticut, Israel. Mom, your coffee. London, etc.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Love you all. Thank you.
Yeah.